Hey everybody, Julie here from Mountain View Wellness. Today I'm going to show you how to make some lavender shortbread cookies. They are delicious and I'm excited to share the recipe with you. You only need 5 ingredients for this recipe, so get ready. You are going to need 2 cups of flour, half a cup of sugar. The recipe calls for white granulated sugar and that's what I use, even though I really love using brown sugar, you know, the turbinado, or a sugar alternative like maple syrup and honey. Those are my go-tos. But anyway, we're going to stick to the recipe today. Have a cup of sugar for the cookies, 1 teaspoon vanilla, 4 teaspoons of dry lavender from my garden, and 2 sticks of butter. Love to use, and I personally love to use my food processor with the dough hook, but you could also do the mix. You could also do the mixing by hand. Let's walk over to my food processor. Now this little sucker is probably about 15 years old, and I love it. Look, my husband even redid. We had a little injury to it, but he's a putty maniac, so he loved to use the putty and fix that sucker. And I use it with a dough hook, which is somewhere around here, and that's about it. Let's get mixing. I forgot to mention that you will need a mortar and pestle, or pestle. I'm actually not sure how you pronounce that. So go ahead and grab one of these. I guess you could use a food processor too. So the first thing we're going to do is, one of my favorite things, is measure out the lavender. You're going to use 2 teaspoons and grind it up. And you want it nice and ground so it can mix really well with the dough. I'm going to add 2 more teaspoons after this so the pieces are a little bit more whole so you can actually see it in the shortbread, which looks really cool. So as you can see, it's kind of powdery here. You can't really tell that there are flours in there. And we're going to toss that right in to the food processor. My dog is going crazy. She might start barking. There she is. And I'm going to do 2 more teaspoons. Daisy, please. I'm doing like a pretend cooking show here. I'm just going to mash that up a bit to release the yumminess, but still maintain, Daisy, still maintain the flours. Now I'm going to add the butter and the sugar and cream those together in the food processor. Now it's important that you make sure that your butter is chilled. Having things cold is super important to keep the integrity of the shortbread cooking. All of these things I've learned within the past 2 weeks. Stop. Right now. Half a cup of sugar. And then we start food processing here. I forgot to put the blade in. It kind of looks like blue cheese when it's all mixed together here. What you're doing is you're just creaming everything. Creaming it together. I'm going to add 1 teaspoon of vanilla. This is an addition I made to the original recipe. I will also post the link to the original recipe. I'm creaming this until I see that it's all mixed really well together. Sometimes I'll see like big chunks of butter. I don't want that. I want everything kind of mixed together really well and creamy. Now I'm going to add half a cup of flour at a time. Great, so now I'm gonna roll it out onto a wood cutting board. Doesn't have to be wood. I'm gonna put this, I would choose something small though, because you're eventually gonna put this in your refrigerator to chill. With my hands, and then I'm gonna get a rolling pin and flatten it out that way. It's gonna be, and then I'm gonna let it chill because it's gonna be a lot easier to handle once it's cold. Oh yeah. See how it's sticking to the rolling pin? That means that it's just not cold enough. Kind of got warm, probably from all the handling. All right. Okay, so now I'm just gonna take this sucker and let it chill in the fridge for about a half hour. And then it will be easier to handle. Right now it's just kind of sticking all over. See you in 30 minutes. So while we're waiting for the shortbread to cool, chill, I thought I would show you how to make the optional icing. The original recipe that I used called for confectioner's sugar, which I did not have. So I used white granulated sugar and I just ground it up in here. What ended up happening was I mixed this ground up granulated sugar with the lavender and it ended up making a very lovely purplish, sparkly kind of icing, which I think looks magical. So this is my sparkly icing for you. And you're gonna need half a cup of sugar with 2 teaspoons of dried lavender and some lemon juice. You can use whole lemon. I actually happen to have the squeezy thing, so I really don't know how much I use. I just totally go by feel on this recipe, so bear with me. So go ahead and take a 1/4 cup of the sugar, pop it in, and start grinding. You're gonna know you're ready when you see that the sugar looks more like a powder. Now, I don't know if you'll be able to see it here, but it's pretty powdery. And then I'm just gonna dump it in. Now, could you use this with confectioners? I don't know. I like to still keep it a little granulated because that helps with the sparkle. You know? All right. I'm doing this. That first 1/4 cup I really made very powdery, so I'm gonna make this less powdery so we can still keep a little bit of sparkle. That looks pretty good. Dump it in there. And I love having bits of real lavender in the icing. It makes it look so pretty. So it's 2 teaspoons in the icing. Adding the sugar. Mix all of that together. And then you're going to get a really cool kind of purpley sugar. Dump that all in your bowl. It looks very cool. Yes. And then you're going to add your lemon juice. I actually don't have enough lemon juice today, so I'm going to use some limes that I've been trying to get rid of. And this is where you just kind of eyeball it. Adding enough of the lemon or lime juice so you get a decent texture for your icing. I like this texture very much. So I'm not going to use that last half of the lime because I think this texture is awesome. The more you mix it, the more purple the icing will get. So I'm just going to hang out and mix it. And we've got 4 more minutes left on my timer till we pull out the shortening. Isn't this a happy little accident? I think the lime smells delicious. Here's a little picture of that. Okay, so now I'm going to pull out the shortbread. All right, much tougher, much less sticky. I'm just gonna roll it out till it's about as thick as I want my cookies to be, which is not super thick. Oh man, come on guys. Now I'm gonna grab my cookie cutters. And just start cutting them out and placing them on a separate plate. We're gonna chill these, and now we're gonna chill these for 20 minutes. Okay, welcome back. And now I'm gonna go get the shortbread dough that's been chilling in the fridge. I'm gonna place them on the cookie sheet. I love this cookie sheet because it's actually a special kind of cookie sheet that doesn't burn the bottoms of cookies. I will let you know what it is when I start editing the video, but I got it at Bed Bath & Beyond. And I read that it's important that you don't burn the bottoms of these cookies because it's a slow bake process. Notice that the temperature is 300, which is pretty low for cookies. Then I also want you to notice these cute little ones at the end. These little square ones I made with the leftover dough. They're kind of thick. And in these will go for about 25 to 30 minutes at 300. Okay, we are back in the kitchen and I'm going to pull out these cookies. All right, and here they are. They took a little bit longer than the original recipe said they would. It said about 25 to 35, and these were more like 45 to 50. You just want to cook until they're golden brown on top, and these are pretty golden. Okay, those are pretty golden, and I'm just going to let these cool, and then I will ice them. So I'll see you in about 20 minutes. In order to help these cool faster, I'm actually going to transfer them onto a cooling rack. So I don't know if you can see this, but there are lovely little lavender specks in this cookie. There we go. And that makes for a very unique and delicious tasting cookie. So like I said, we're going to let these cool. I totally recommend using cooling racks. They're great for cookies and for homemade pasta. And I will see you in a little bit with some cooled cookies, and they will be all ready for our purple lavender lime icing. So I hope you enjoyed the how to make lavender shortbread cookies. So a few things that I may change in the future is that I think I'll stick with the lime icing versus the lemon lavender. And I also want to try a candied ginger shortbread because I think that sounds like it would taste amazing. Well, I hope you enjoyed this very simple, easy recipe. Have a great time doing the original and then making it your own. Have a wonderful day.